Hi, everyone. So we are live on Instagram and YouTube. It is officially Tangent Tuesday, but this is our new moon ritual for the week. We have our new moon in Taurus on Saturday here in the Northern Hemisphere. So as you guys come in, say hi, throw a little emoji up, wave, hi, Paula. Again, I'm gonna be very diligent trying to keep to our 1 hour time frame, a little bit under, because Instagram will only give us that hour, which is awesome. But if you miss it, or you're watching this on Instagram, you're like, I can't watch the whole thing, and you want to go back to it later on, then it's on YouTube in perpetuity. So I think out of all of the weirdo energies that were happening, all of our social media is now working in our behalf and in our favor. So hooray. Hi, you guys. We got lots to go through today, but I think my notes are good and solid and a little as linear as we can be, and as we make our way through all of it. It's really dreary, rainy in Brooklyn today. I don't know what it's like where you are, but when it's this like low barometric pressure for me, I just want to get back in bed. So it is like super snuggly weather. It's super Taurus weather, and today it's very much the new moon weather, right? Like everybody get quiet, everybody hunker down. It's also like, as far as the astrology goes, it's my birthday week. So it's doing the weekly reading has a little extra oomph for me this week. And as we talk about Taurus, I get a little extra into it because it's my sun sign. So there's lots of good energy to share and to explore and to talk about. And I get real excited around my birthday. Lacey, it's dreary and rainy in Arizona. Wait, that is weird, right? Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Chris. And Melinda. Hi. Thank you. Yeah, it's funny because it's kind of a thing in my family of like, it always rains on my birthday. Always. Even if it's just like a weird like sun shower or sprinkle for like 5 seconds. The years that it hasn't has been like, what is going on? So I'm like, it's just par for the course. Good cleansing for Mama Bear's birthday. Hi, you guys. So let's do a little bit of housekeeping as everybody kind of enters and joins us. Today's the last day to buy your deep dive to Thrive sessions on sale. They're always around. They're always an offer on tandygutierrez.com. It's the only time I put them on sale during the year is in this springtime, with the astrological new year starts in Aries season, and I let it go through the whole month of April. So today's the last day. If you've been kind of poking, thinking, lurking, today's the day to do it. Tomorrow morning, I'll adjust it back to its regular rate, but it's 20% off. It's the only time during the year I put them on sale. If you want to purchase it now and schedule it later in the year, which a lot of you are doing, which is awesome, as a check-in point later or as a birthday gift, for towards the end of the year, do that. So the Deep Dive to Thrive sessions, some of you here in the group have done them. Some of you do them every year. And I just think they're like all the magic in one place, right? It's one-on-one time with me. It's time to go through all the details of your life, actually. Like, we're looking at movement, we're looking at fuel, at food, we're looking at spiritual ritual, self-care, and then we kind of look at like the tiny tweaks and the small details. And I call myself, I'm a wellness witch, but I'm also like a wellness detective because of the broad spectrum of my experiences in fitness and in wellness with personal health issues and autoimmune issues, and with the spiritual, mystical component of things. I get a really big view that most people don't get of things, to look for small ways to change and make progress while taking care of the body. So it's a very intuitive process, but it's also very practical. And it's like, let's just tweak this and let's adjust this. And it's not this hard pressing. It allows for organic evolution, but also real practicality on like where things are going wrong. And the goal of the Deep Dive to Thrive session, typically focuses on your health and your wellness. So we look at workouts, we look at rest, we look at fuel and hydration. But they inevitably, because everything's interconnected, take a turn to like, what are your personal goals for the year, either just interpersonally or as career or functional things for the year, that we look at them as a whole picture, and how does one feed the next, and how do we get you to the goals that you want, or a whole lot closer than you were. So these sessions are really a once a year thing. Some people do them twice to check in, but I think they're totally sufficient for once a year. And if you're looking at taking like a coaching session and you only got to do one, please do this one. If you don't find a time in my calendar that works for you, then message me, email me. I will find you a place if you're willing to do the deep work. So today's the last day to buy them over at tandygutierrez.com. Second little bit of, I get all this gunky business, and part of it's just allergies and weather and all this energetic shift happening. The second bit of housekeeping is holistic picnic. If you're in Brooklyn, or if you're in New York, or if you're in New Jersey, or you're traveling here this weekend, I'm teaching, weather permitting. So everybody do a little fingers crossed, on Sunday here in Carroll Gardens. So this is not at the studio that I've taken up shop in. This is at the Green Building. It's this beautiful, beautiful event space that they do a lot of weddings, and it's so gorgeous. And so Holistic Picnic, it's like a one-day wellness fair, but it's very woo-woo. There's tarot readers, there's acupuncturists, there's they're going to do aura photography, and I'm teaching 2 sessions. So if you're anywhere near and you want to come take class with me, weather permitting, because it's outside on the patio, at 1 and 3:30 this Sunday, May 5th. And if you want details, go to tandygutierrez.com. There's a little events space there now because I'm teaching more stuff throughout the spring and the summer. Or if you have friends here, you can't come, send your friends, okay? So I'm teaching this weekend, pray that it doesn't rain. It's a bring your own mat situation. There's 12 spots at each time slot. So again, very boutique, still very genuine community-based, and a lot of real give and energy. It's not like a big knockdown, drag out thing. Okay? Cool. Hi, you guys. All right. So I'm going to have a little water, and what else? Okay. Checking the time. What does it look like? Okay. Here we go. So it's a new moon on Saturday, right? And new moons are what? What is our general basic new moon energy? Basic new moon energy is fresh starts and new beginnings. And the short version of that is it's time to make wishes. It's time to set intentions. It's time to set a goal. And anytime you're setting a goal, the personal trainer in me says, make it obtainable, like realistic and obtainable. But the witch in me says, when you make a wish, like, amplify it ×3. Like, what is intended for you by the universe is always more than we aim for ourselves. So there's kind of this in between, right? Of like, does it need to be really attainable and realistic, and like, what can I actually get to? And versus like, what do I really want? Okay, that sounds crazy. That sounds scary. What I know when I'm working with people, for the most part, when it comes to our dreams and our intentions and our goal setting, in particular for the unicorns, because like attracts like, and you all are such genuine spirits, often you all are not aiming big enough. I think you all are still playing a little small, taking up not enough space in the universe, and it's time to really step out pretty big. So new moon energy is about crawling back in bed, right? It's about restoration, self-care, meditation, and receiving messages. It is prime time for a tarot reading. It's prime time for journaling. It's prime time for hearing things in a way that it just was kind of clouded or unseen or unheard before. So new moon is time to meditate, to journal, and to listen, and to allow the ahas and the ideas to come through in a way that can be seen and heard, okay? So make a wish, set a goal. And this time comes around every month, right? Every month we have a new moon and a full moon. So I always say, like, the moon and the lunar calendar and Mama Moon, man, she is the best coach on the planet. It's just 2 times a month. You go, what do I want? Did it come to fruition? What do I need to ditch? What do I need to release and get rid of at the full moon in order to make things happen? So you may have a big overview that you're working with, right, as to what your goal and your intentions and your wishes are. And it may be time to refine that. Maybe it's time to just, no, I got the same darn wish, like same one. Or maybe it's time to look at a micro cycle of the wish or a macro cycle of the wish, meaning what do I really want for my life overall? In this new moon, I do encourage that it be a macro cycle. What do you really want in the overall grand scheme of life? And that some of these other moons and new moons are more suited to the microcycles of the attainable, what's the next step. But I always say this, make your wish, set your goal, then write out your to-do list. This is not, I'm going to say, it's not like airy-fairy, like, hey, I just made a wish, so it's going to happen because the moon's sitting right here. I think that's the great misunderstanding of astrology and the nations. That it's a time that says you need to decide what you want and you need to name it and claim it and say it outwardly to the universe in big ways. And more than that, you need to say it to yourself and you need to be honest with yourself about what you really want, because we are the universe. We're not separate, right? And usually the big shifts are really about getting honest with ourselves. Okay. So in this new moon, I really suggest going big, looking at the overall spectrum of what do you really want in this life? There's a lot, and we'll get to that, of what's happening with this moon that makes it a little bit more powerful, and more of a transition and a transformative moon. Okay. Because, right, not every time's a big time to make big changes. We've just gone through some big energy shifts. So if you're watching the weekly tarot on YouTube, and if you're following along on Tuesdays, you know that we've had like some big transformation, and the cards are all like, hey, things are shaking out in the cosmos, and they're shaking out in your karma, and you're learning your lessons, and you are upgrading, and you are moving forward. So that means big changes, new stories, new chapters, right? So yesterday's was like, no, we're not just at the end of a book here and like we're going to add another chapter. Like that whole series is done. We got to write a new, or that book series is becoming a TV series or a movie. Like it's bigger, it's new, it's different. So make your wishes, okay? If you need help with like, how do I do a new moon ritual? How do I really make, my wish? The Moon Mama sessions on YouTube are here. So just go find that video, watch the video. And again, it's mostly about journaling. It's mostly about meditating. And then directly, once you aim and like say, like, this is what I want. This is what I want, even if it's big and scary, especially if it's big and scary. Then you go make your to-do list. What are all the tiny little things that I can do as a step towards that? Then it gets really practical, right? And then you just try to chip away that to-do list as much as humanly possible from now until the next new moon, right? So it's a very, I think new moons in general are very earthy. They're very practical. Like, yes, there's whimsy in them, but they're very functional because it's not just about setting the goal or making the wish. It's about making the list. And then after the new moon energy kind of clears after that 3 or 4 days after. So in Northern Hemisphere, the new moon is on Saturday. That would be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So like next week is like Tuesday, like you need to start checking off that list. Like who can I talk to? What information do I need? What's something really practical I can do right now today? So in general, I feel that new moons are earthy energy, doing 3D, and this one in particular is very earthy, okay, because it's in Taurus. So that's the general new moon energy. Are you all working on the same wishes and manifestations and goals, or are you feeling it's time for something new? Or you're like, no, I know what I want, but what I've been asking for and what I've been aiming at just isn't resonating, and I just feel like it needs a shift, like a reset, So let me know in the comments where you guys are at with your wants and wishes, because it's important for us all to be gathering together. Hi, Connie. But it's more important that you all are doing the work, right? That you leave these videos and these sessions together and you start going, what do I really want? What really resonates with my heart? I know it doesn't make sense with my head, but this is what my heart wants. This is what I've always wanted. Those are always the paths to go down. Okay. And so we're getting push, 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 push to start being brave, taking up more space, aiming bigger, really being honest about what we want, and go big, you know? And I don't want to say go big or go home, because I had an Instagram post about that and I laughed, because like, I'll go home. Like, I like my home. But we need to be big and honest about what we want, what will fulfill us. And this is not necessarily in an egotistic way. This is about, like, I feel like I'm here on this planet to do this in this incarnation. So Unicorn Wellness really genuinely is about the highest expression of your soul in this lifetime. And we handle it from the practical to the magical stages, right? We invite and we include and we like dive into and live in the magic, but knowing that we're doing that so we can apply it in the practical realm. I've always said that, you know, the stars kind of have to hit the concrete somewhere. So otherwise, what are we doing? You know, it can't all be theory. It just can't. So, you know, what are you aiming at right now? What needs, you know, the focus? Be honest, put it out there. And I'm asking you all to post it here, because this is about being brave. Y'all see each other's like, but it's also about accountability, right? And being brave and putting it out there, being vulnerable and allowing other people to support you. I find that in my job, I feel like I have to strong arm people to let me help them. Like, what? No, just let me help. I genuinely want to help. Okay, reading the comments. Yes, Jill. So she's working on the same goal, soak up the knowledge and kick ass as a therapist. I love it. I love it. Yep. Good, 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 good. Charlotte's raising her hair for a total reset. Okay, good. I think total reset can be, you know, it's like crumpling up that sheet of paper, throwing it out and going, clean slate. What do I really want? You know, and just really be brave and dive into it. Chris, where are you at? Manifestation wish has been to be centered in your energetic power, and you're still working on it. I'm going to push you and say it needs to be bigger and more tangible. So to be centered in your energetic power, yes, absolutely. But what do you want? Like, let's be honest. Like, new moons are about wishes. You want to be centered in your energetic power. Why? Why? So answer the why, and then you've got a more refined goal for manifestation. Because again, we get really lofty of like, it sounds in too many words. And so again, like the soul business card, sometimes you really do need to boil it down for clarity, to hit the concrete, to be tangible. Then you can go make it flowery and gorgeous and beautiful and layered as you bring it into fruition. So again, we're getting there. Let's make the transition into Taurus. Okay. So this new moon is in Taurus. Taurus energy is the great materialist, okay? And so I get to say lots of things about Taurus on the good and the bad spectrum, because my son's in Taurus, okay? And I always feel like I'm not judging anybody. I'm being real honest about who I am and the energy of, you know, what that is also. So, but Taurus energy is the materialist of the zodiac chart. So Taurus wants it to be tangible. I want it to be something in the world. I want to smell it. I want to see it. I want to taste it. I want to touch it. I want to have it. Okay. And materialism has gotten just a super bad rap. And today I want to like kind of shift it. Materialism in its best spectrum of meaning means that it's of high quality, worthy, real. It means it's real. And Taurus wants things that are real, that last a lifetime. They don't want the fast, quick thing that's like hip, and we certainly don't want plastic that's expendable. We want old woods. We want antiques. You know, we want beautiful, real jewelry. We don't want costume jewelry. We want crystals. Do you know what I mean? Like, so Taurus energy, which is what we're sitting in right now, which is what this lunation is, which is why I'm saying go big, because Taurus wants tangible goods. The bull is also the sign of finances. It's why there's a bull outside the New York Stock Exchange. So it wants to make things and to bring them into fruition, and it wants them to be tangible. What I invite you all to hear when I say the great materialist is that Taurus is actually the best sensualist. And that's what's calling, like that's the channeled information to bring to you all today. The focus needs to be on sensuality, but this doesn't mean sexuality. Just like erotic nature does not mean only sexual. It means that it is that peaking of like stirring of want, but of sensation, right? So sensual pleasures, and we talked a lot about it lately. sight, sound, touch, smell, right? And so the joke about Taurus that I love is that, it's like, Taurus, where did all your money go? And it's like, I either ate it or I'm wearing it, which is very true, that we want to feel life. Okay. And there are different seasons and different reasons for things, but this is Taurus season. This is a time of feeling life, right? This is fertility. So Beltane, hello, tomorrow, right? May Day, Easter, Ostara, whatever side of the spectrum of pagan and history that you are on, this is the season of fertility. This is about sweetness. This is about enjoying things. And this is about, creating things. It's a very sensual thing to create something that you love, right? And we can just go back to babies and birth. So like you have this beautiful sensual union of two people. And then if a miracle happens, you've created another person, right? So this season is about creating it. And Taurus is a slow learner. We're really slow. We're late bloomers, okay? So how does this relate to this full moon? This is the energy of this full moon. So this full moon, we're going to set intentions. We want to bring things into tangible nature. Taurus needs them to be beautiful and high quality. This isn't about fast, oh, I just threw this together. Nope. So Taurus at its best is about mastery, because it takes us so long to learn stuff that by the time we've spent time, and we've talked about this before, that 10 years is really the scope of mastery. You have to have practiced something for 10 years before you have mastery at it. It's about effort and time. So Taurus is slow, right? But it's like this big, it's like pulls stuff, knocks through things, can be very stubborn and really surly. And you can't convince a Taurus of anything. They have to come to it on their own time. So this moon is calling us to be honest about what we want to bring into fruition, be stubborn in a constructive way of not letting it go, but not barreling people down with it either, kind of taking a quieter turn of this is what I want. I'm going to keep it in my mind's eye. I'm going to keep striving and working towards that diligently. Taurus cannot be moved off its path. You push a Taurus, this is why I don't like boot camp classes. It makes me want to punch somebody in the face and leave, right? So Taurus is when we get pushed, we just sit down and we quit. I see you. I'm not going to fight you. It's not what I want to do. So there is a constructive, stubborn nature to Taurus energy. So this moon is just pushing us. What are we creating mastery at? What do we really want? Maybe it's time to generate and cultivate new mastery at something. If the other things aren't working, maybe it is time to let go of it. Bringing things into tangible fruition. And it has a lot to do with our finances, because Uranus is sitting in Taurus. Uranus is the disruptor and the rule breaker, and it has to do with finances. And so this can be a breakthrough moment of things, of financial, abundance shifting for the better, if we plant it in this new moon. Okay. So this lunation is layered with it. I'm going to go back to this before I go to that. Okay. Taurus is about your worth, because this is what abundance is about when we speak about manifestation. When you have trouble in making manifestations in financial spaces or in love spaces, right? This is about health and wellness and the tangible goods of life. This is about worth and worthiness. And the wound of Taurus is that it doesn't feel worthy. It has to overwork. It has to overprove itself. It gets a little boisterous and a little too hard hitting and too hard pushing to convince other people. It doesn't like to be convinced, but we'll go convince other people, right? So this moon is about our worth. And it's time to believe in our worth. It is time to release the patterns of unworthiness. It is time to heal. And it is time to stick to our visions of what is worthy in the world and what we want to bring into fruition. And it really needs to be about our wants. So remember that in Taurus's imbalance, we're hedonists, right? We'll eat all day long. We'll sit on the couch, watch movies, have sex, and we'll drink a little too much because we love to feel things. Okay. So this is where it gets to be about this. What do you want truly does matter. And we always want it to be in balance. We don't want the imbalance of, the complete hedonist, but we're always striving for balance, which is why we work our way through the chart. Each thing has something different to offer it, and then how we implement it in our life for balance, right? If we're on the hedonist side of the scale, hi you guys, then we need to move into the more practical working side of Taurus. If we're only stuck in the like, oh my God, they're so grounded and so rooted and there's no magic and there's no fun and there's no play of Taurus, then we need to move into the sensual side of Taurus in this new moon. So the thing to heal right now is worthiness. Like, get in there. And you're like, but I'm trying. It's easier said than done, right? But this is the time for meditation, for journaling, for listening to the weekly tarot readings, heading over to UnicornWellness.Studio and listening to your monthly, your new moon readings over there. What are you hearing? Where's your messaging coming from? And then if you're really stuck, then maybe book a private reading and just ask, what is it that needs to be healed? Or how do I heal this? How do I heal my worthiness? Straight up ask. In my Instagram feed this morning, I was like, you want to know the answers to something, then ask. And if you're not getting questions in your own meditation and your own work, we're all capable of answering them ourselves. But you may need some support and you may need to hear it from somebody else. Then go book with somebody else, even if it's not me. Like, go ask the questions. Asking the right questions allows for the answers to eventually come in. Okay. And if we feel like I've been asking, maybe you're asking the wrong questions, right? If you're not getting any answers, or you're asking the right questions, but you just don't like the answers. So you're deflecting it. So nothing ever changes. Okay. So Taurus wants tangible change for the better, in abundance and sensuality, in like yes, nature. So look at the places that need to be healed. Where is there a lack of sensual nature in your life? Or where is there too much and you need to get a little bit more practical working? Tauruses love to work. It's a work hard, play hard mentality. Like, we will push that wagon, pull the wagon, and then we're going to go lay in the field and sniff the flowers for 4 days. Like, that's cool. Balance, right? Okay, I'm going to scroll through the comments a little bit, and then we're going to kind of circle back to this particular lunation, and then we'll move into Unicorn Bingo to talk about where this moon sits in your chart, okay? I'm just reading through things real fast. If there was questions that I missed while I was running my mouth. Okay. Okay, I dig it. I like it. Oh, yes. Chris, I love the soul business card. Who else has done theirs? I'm hearing more and more, and that's really good. I think that this Taurus full moon is really good for creating that soul business card. Who are you at your soul? This is tangible. This is actionable. When you put, a name to it, Jill, it's totally Ferdinandable. Investigator. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Yeah, I like investigator. Seeker, like you're constantly seeking knowledge, but you want it to apply to something. That makes a whole lot of sense. Thank you. The octopi and all of my crystals behind me. Okay. Good morning, you guys. Oh, thank you, Cindy. Okay, so today, just as a little recap, because we have new faces in the room. So in the new moon ritual, I go through, for UnicornWellness.Studio members, those who are members in our community, like the housekeeping bits. Then we talk about, what is the new moon, if you missed that part. And then we go through the lunation of each particular moon, which is what we just did, like the temperament of Taurus. Taurus wants, let's be really clear about that. I want this. And they're very good about their order, right? Somebody, I can't remember who it was another astrologer that was like, I love going to eat with Taurus. Like, they eat, I want it like this with this on the side and swap that out. And that's what I want. If you don't have it, I don't want it. And I think that's the best energy of Taurus, being really clear about what you want. So this Taurus moon has got all of this. What do you want? And do you believe that you're worth it? And if not, why not? It's time to heal it. Quit squirreling around in victimhood. Like, let's figure it out. Let's ask the right questions. Let's get into actionable, tangible things that we can control and that we can affect, and then let the universe do the rest of its work, right? We cannot fix and control everything. We're not meant to, but we do certainly have to put effort towards things. And so maybe we're just not putting the right effort towards it, or we just have gotten a little like, that sounds like a lot of effort. It's time. You're getting called on it, okay? So this lunation, our past couple of moons have been a little backwards in their energy, right? Like the last full moon was so much energy and so powerful about balance that the general feeling for the unicorn community was that it was like acted more like a new moon, right? And I do feel all of that. I feel that this new moon has got that feeling of a full moon, of a little more amped energy, because it's Taurus, and Taurus is like it's actually moving towards work mode, right? That Aries spring season of go, do, instigate, initiate. So there's some reverse energy working in this lunation too. So it may feel, instead of like this slow downturn of hermiting, you may feel like, no, I need to go make my list and I need to go start doing the doing. Okay, great. Do it, right? Always follow your personal energy flow rather than what the moon says to do. If you feel like getting things done actionably, then go do it. Just because it's a new moon, it doesn't mean you have to hide out and hermit. And same thing goes for the full moon. If it's feeling like I need to hermit and listen and do a little extra meditation instead of the doing, then do that, right? It's always about listening to the internal energetic guide, which is why we're doing the weekly tarot as well, because the ebb and the flow of the UnicornWellness.Studio community is just getting like more and more magical the more time we spend together energetically. Like we've got our own kind of thing going on vibration wise. So this lunation is layered with the Jupiter retrograde, Pluto retrograde, and Saturn retrograde that happened on Sunday. I think I'm starting to lose my dates, but you guys can go back to the Instagram feed to see those bits, of the layering. These are interesting retrogrades. Retrogrades always say the work is internal, but Taurus says the results can be and probably will be external in these energetic plays. And yesterday, you can go back to yesterday's weekly tarot reading to listen to that. This Saturn retrograde, again, it depends on if you have Pluto and Saturn retrograde in your natal chart, it may be more comfortable. It may feel like exciting things are getting ready to happen and like that flow. And if you're not in these retrograde energies natally, like in your natal chart, they're direct. You may feel like impatient, frustrated, like what? Nothing's moving forward. And now I just feel like everything's slowed down again. If you're feeling really impatient and frustrated lately, energetically, then the work is internal. Then there is emotional stuff, healing things that need to come out, that need to be sorted through, that need to be given their fair honesty with, okay? And I do believe that. I think when the energies are smooth and simple, it means like, hey, you've really worked through, you've done the work, you've already had your hard, frustrating, healing, you've gone through the grieving mourning process, and now you're in like that sweet spot that who knows how long it'll last. But if you're in that frustrated, like I don't know what to do, then there's still more healing to be had, meaning that this lunation could be very cathartic and really useful. But be honest about what you need to be honest about. And if things are really not moving forward and there's not clarity, and you don't feel like the messages are clear, this is the time to go, okay, Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn. Pluto is change or die, and not die as in death, but in that feeling of deadness in life, like everything's the rat race. And it's like, what am I doing things for? Then you got to change what you're doing. You have to be willing to be brave and to release and go to the underworld and look at what needs to be dredged up from the dark so that you can heal and move forward. Okay. This new moon on Saturday has a grand trine, and grand trines are big old triangle. You know me and my triangles. Okay. Triangles are goodness, like meaning they're good things or things that have an ease and a blessing about them. And so it has a grand trine, the moon, Jupiter and Pluto. So this is like, the moon being our intuition, our inner lives, our inner knowing, our deep connection to the cosmos. Jupiter is the blessing bearer. It expands everything, makes things good, makes things bigger than they really are, as big as they can be. And then Pluto is transformation. So understand that Pluto, although it's the underworld and it's change or die, and it can be really aggressive and it can be, a little like earth shattering, it's cathartic and it's new and it's rebirth, and at its best Pluto's Phoenix. So there is a Phoenix moment, another one waiting for us, right? So we had last week's energy of like the Phoenix energy, and then we needed rest and integration. And it's like this new moon is planting the Phoenix. and going, what are you going to do with it? What are you really going to point your finger at, stake your claim on? What do you want to do? So if you want to help others and you want to help others heal, then what does that look like tangibly? What does that mean? What are you going to do? You know, so Taurus is like, get real about it, get honest about it, claim it, name it, put it out there, and now start to go work towards it, because you planted it, and this big new moon could be really big. Okay. So, but again, side note, Taurus asks for patience and goes really slow. So even if you are planting it at this new moon, know that it will still take time to come to fruition. Okay. Or have you really been diligent in planting for years? I'm hearing years. I mean, this is like past life years. This is like past life, like centuries of planting that could be planted and come to fruition in some summer months. Okay. So understand that Taurus is patience and time with mastery and effort. Look back. Have you been putting that effort and mastery? And you may have, then maybe your time's coming sooner. And if you haven't, that's okay. Then get honest, plant it now, and then time and effort. Okay. So looking at the comments real fast. Okay, Shauna, I see. Okay. Yeah. It's really, you know, and Sarah, you've got the Saturn retrograde. Yeah. If these retrogrades are natal, you know, native to your natal chart, it's kind of feeling pretty fun. Or you've just really done the work, and in your timing and in your journey, there's some sweetness coming, I think. So there's that. Okay. So this is the moon that we're going to be experiencing. So if it's Saturday, you know, today starts the energy of this new moon. Tomorrow, more intensely. It's really intense that 3-4 days prior and 3 and 4 days post. So, you know, if you feel like, I'm not feeling any of that yet, that's okay. You got time. Don't worry about it. Let's go through. Oh, you guys, there's always so much to cover in so little time. I definitely want to do your card readings, as many as I can. Let's just do a quickie unicorn bingo. This is like the quick version of it. So for those of you who have your natal astrology chart, if you've done a simple stars reading with me, then you have it to go back to. We call it unicorn bingo just because it's fun. This lunation is in Taurus. So the thing to look at in your natal chart is, where does Taurus sit in your chart? This will give you insight and information into what this new moon is capable of planting and expanding big time for you. Okay, so if you have Taurus in the first house, and I work off of a whole house sign chart for your sessions and for myself, and that means it's like purist, you know, it's like you won't have anything on these weird cusps. It's a whole house sign. Taurus goes from 0 to 29 degrees. So if you have Taurus in the first house, that's a Taurus rising by a whole house sign chart. This is going to be identity, self. Who are you? Who am I? This also has to do with, how do you deal with yourself? So I like to look at things more about, how do you deal with yourself? And Taurus can be really, really stubborn and really frustrating, and also very cold, because we get focused on something and we go, I want that. And then we start to not listen to anything or anyone except for what we want. So be aware, if you have Taurus rising, like how you're dealing with yourself. Is there enough sensuality in it? Like, are you really listening? Are you really feeling? Are you smelling? You know, like Taurus does really well with essential oils because it's so sensual in nature. So, you know, if you're not dealing with yourself, you need to soften, and that's a call for self-care. If you have Taurus in the second house, this is how do you gather your goods, food, water, shelter, that you look at how you're doing things. Are you being abrasive and stubborn and sitting yourself in the middle of the road, or are you just plowing along? I always see, you know, the bull as like the plow, right? Like that, you know, if you're just continually slowly moving through things, great. But this is a time to look at how you're doing things. Like, are you just ignoring things and making wishes and sitting on the couch and hoping shit's going to show up? Or are you working diligently during the day, making phone calls, making lists, reaching out, asking questions, trying to learn and cultivate, and then taking your rest, you know? So those are those. The third house, if Taurus is in your third house, this is the house of community, and how you connect outside of yourself and how you connect with other people. So you can look at it as communication, but it may also be Taurus can be quite the hermit, and we can be like, fuck it, I don't need anybody. I'm good. That's good sometimes. And sometimes that's really lonely and it shuts people out. So if you have Taurus in the third house, then look at that and, do I need more community and more connection, or am I doing too much of that and it's distracting me from me and what I need to be doing? Fourth house. The fourth house is the house of home, but I love to look at it from the soul perspective. How do you feel safe in the world? Your sense of safety in the world. Taurus's sense of safety, I'm telling you right now, is financial resources. So if you have Taurus in the fourth house, you need to look at what do you have in savings? What is the relationship to your finances? And is it, big and little, or it's always a little, or are you squirreling it away and not, sharing, using, spending, and, so that's where that is. Fifth house. If Taurus is in your fifth house, this is the house of creativity. But understand that creativity has to do with healing and the dark side. So I offer that in this new moon, you really look at what are the things, the wounds and the stuff you don't want to talk about. That's where you need to go for the healing. Sixth house. How do you love? How do you give? How do you help in the world? Taurus is actually an excellent helper. They'll give time. They'll give resources. They'll give the best hugs on the planet. They're not always good listeners. I'm going to say that. So look at how you're helping in the world. This is an external bit. Actually, you know what? They can all be both. So are you helping yourself? Are you listening to yourself? I think what I hear is, are you listening to your heart? Are you being really honest about what you're working towards? Are you still aiming at goals that are for everybody else and what the outside world is going to validate? Or are you doing what you want to do? What your heart calls you to do? What the soul is spurring you to do? Seventh house is the house of relationships. So if you have Taurus in the seventh house, it's relationships that are going to get the test and the highlight of transformation of new seeds. Listening to a lot of astrologers and the tarot readers right now, they're pushing at this moon to be some relationship let goes. So I would say if Taurus is in your seventh house, then definitely look at that. Relationships that are not in balance, that are either too hedonistic, like, those friends or those partners that you just party with, and that, buddy that's like, that's not getting you towards something, or relationships that are too work oriented and like no fun at all. Find balance in the relationships. Eighth house. If Taurus is in your eighth house, this is death and sex, but I look at it as the house of clearing. We're going to get to questions here in just a minute, and then you guys can start asking your questions. So eighth house is the house of clearing. What can you release? What are you willing to release? Taurus gets very stubborn and holds on to stuff way too long. So look at the tangible things you need to actually clean your house. Or are there friendships and relationships too, or ways of dealing with things that you've just really been too stubborn about for too long that need to go? Ninth house is how do you connect with yourself? How do you connect with spirit? Taurus is very embodied, so getting on the mat, movement, physical movement would be the way in which to do that in this moon. 10th house is the house of empowerment. This is career and legacy. If this is here, man, you better put down on paper and have a good old ritual about what you want in this lifetime. I'm going to raise my hand. Taurus is in my 10th house. I think that this moon for Taurus in the 10th house has the potential to be highly transformative. What does that look like? I don't know. But I think this is a time to wish really big if it's in your 10th house. If it's in the 11th house, Taurus in your 11th house, this is a lot about your community and networking and friendships. So just that's where the newness can come in again. If you 7th house and 11th house, look at relationships that aren't any good anymore, communities that you don't connect with. You don't have community. You need to go try some on, try to connect, okay? And then 12th house. 12th house is the house of unseen talents, of hidden things. So if Taurus is in your 10th house, I always look at this as like your secret powerhouse and you have no idea. Like you're a high manifester. There can be a lot of financial resources, a lot of joy, a lot of love, a lot of tangible things come into play here, but you hide it or you just aren't honest about what you want. And so I think 12th house could be another very cathartic one in this moon. How's that for speed unicorn bingo? Yeah. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to take a breath. Whew. Then we're going to move on to questions. Okay. So here's how it works with me for live tarot readings. We're on Instagram and YouTube. I will stay longer on YouTube because it allows us to do that. Okay. And on Instagram, I'm going to take your questions first if you guys have them, again, because of the gap on the timing that we have. If you're asking a question, you must pose the question as something that is capable of being answered yes or no. Okay. And I'll do a single card pull and then channel through additional information that goes with that. If the question is too layered, then I'll ask you to refine it and I'll help you to refine your question. Okay? And it's basically first come, first serve. Those who type fastest, I get to you guys first. And I tend to answer about 10 of them in the time frame that we have. Okay? And knowing that if I don't get to your question, we'll have the full moon where I take questions again. And then you can always book. And I do single card readings as bookings also. And they're juicier than you think they're going to be. Okay. So, oh yeah, of course. You guys get, yes. So here's the deal. Anybody can ask a question. It's first come, first serve. The question has to be phrased in a way that can be answered yes or no. I'll do as many as I can, up to 10. And we're on Instagram and YouTube, and I'm going to hop between the two and do what I can. And again, if I don't get your question this time, come back, join us at the full moon. I'll do them again on the full moon. And then you can always book at tandygutierrez.com. And I do single card readings there too. So it doesn't have to be a super expensive thing, right? Okay. So Instagram, you guys are quiet, but I would like to try to do 1 or 2 for Instagram first because you guys will shut off before YouTube will. Okay, let's get going. All right, I'm using the Robin Wood Tarot today. It's a very springy deck. I love it for the spring. And I still need more water. All right, Instagram, y'all are quiet, so here we go, YouTube. Chris, is there a way? Okay, so Chris, you got to rephrase it. It has to be able to be answered in a yes. Like you asked your question, I have to be able to say yes or no, and then I can give more information. Oh, I guess I could answer that yes or no. Is there a way I can help Todd see his negative and destructive behavior? I'm guessing you want to know what the way is to help him do that, right? Because if I say, well, let's try this. Chris, your energy and I are pretty good, so let's try that. Hang on. Okay, let's look at, all right, Chris, I'm gonna go with this because I think we can get to where you want to be with it. Is there a way you can help Todd see his negative and destructive behaviors? This is a yes, and what a gorgeous card. I'm wondering, okay, so this is the Lover's card. This and don't, I don't know who Todd is, so it doesn't have to be an amorous partnership. What it's saying is you're asking, is there a way for you to help him see his negative destructive behavior? The answer is yes, okay? The Lovers is love, right? It's the number 6. So this is about partnership, and this is also about soul, soulmates. Soulmates do not have to be amorous, okay? Soulmates mean that your souls have gone eons together over and over and over and over and over and over and over, meaning that there is a soul connection, that there is genuine love meaning that you want the highest and greatest good for the other person at all times. So Chris, if you can go in a very loving, genuine, I hear it soft, you got to go in this soft way, and it's like an earnestness, like I'm worried about you, I love you, we've been through all of these things together, that there's capacity for him to hear you because he understands of the partnership of the genuine love that's there. But this is also a call to balancing masculine and feminine energies. That's where he's going. That's his thing. That's how he's supposed to balance. There's an imbalance of one of those energies, lunar and solar power. And so in order to help him, he needs the counterbalance. So how can you help introduce that counterbalance? Knowing that you cannot do anyone's work for them, you just have to, but you can make the effort, It's yes. Okay. Next, what's the next question? Lacey, will my husband find a job up north before August? Lacey, will I find a job up north before August? Oh, this is one of those maybes. Okay, so patience. This is, okay, so it's the High Priestess. I love me some High Priestess, right? Okay, here's what I hear. Okay, because this is a maybe. This isn't a solid yes or no. This means other things have to fall into place before a job can present itself, right? The universe is mysterious and free will is our biggest, magical power. But as we make choices, other choices get made. So this is kind of when you do the magic 8-ball and it goes, cannot answer right now. You're getting a little bit of the cannot answer right now situation, okay? So will he find a job up north before August? Maybe, but I hear that you, I know, man, it comes down to you, need to connect more deeply with your intuition, with your capacity to manifest with what you're planting in the universe. What do you want? Even the sounding of the question made it sound a little like you're waiting for things to happen instead of creating things. Understand that you are the High Priestess in this situation. You can brew some major magic. You need to be intent on what you want. When do you want to go? Is it best at your intuitive level? This is not about ego. Lacey, you know things, you feel things, and you're trying to still be human and be in partnership and let everybody have what they want kind of thing. You need to hunker down into meditation and prayer and go, what do you hear is best for the family? And then what do you want? And you need to put some ritual, intention, magic, manifestation out there in order to get it to come around. So it can't be answered right now because you're not clear about what you want with the universe. And that allows the other dominoes not to be even set up right now. I see a bunch of dominoes laying on the ground. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So see, sometimes it's a maybe. Okay. I'm going through the questions in order best I can. Angela. Oh, hi, Angela. Okay. Should we take vacation in the next 30 days? Should we take vacation in the next 30 days? Oh, that's a yes. That's a yes. Because that's the Knight of Wands. Off for adventure. That's really clear, Angela, and there's not much more than that. Just a big old yes. Charging, ready to go. Yeah. That's just pretty straightforward. That's not even complicated. I love that. Okay, AP. Do I know the person I will marry in the future? Let's see. Do you know the person you will marry in the future? And welcome. Oh, flying cards. I love flying cards. Okay, that's a yes. Look at this card. This is the Wheel of Fortune. This is fresh starts and new beginnings, but every deck looks different. And what I love about the Wheel of Fortune card in this one, she's like, yes, like, that's a yes. That's like a big old yes. So AP, it says you do know the person that you will marry in the future. Keep in mind, that doesn't mean you have a very deep relationship with this person. You know them. I hear lightly. It's almost like a periphery person. But the Wheel of Fortune card is all about things turning around for the greatest good, right? And to really making magic simply because the cycles are shifting and the timing is right. The timing's coming around is what I hear. But yeah, you know them. So that's cool. Shauna, your turn. Is it time for you to lay the groundwork to make a career change? Shauna, is it time for you to lay the groundwork to make a career change? Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, Shauna. Okay, so this is the Star card. This is also wish big. This new moon has a lot to offer you in terms of meditation and journaling and planning and wishing and planting the seed. Because the Star card is about wishing big, right? And even if you miss, if you miss the star, you land on the moon. If you miss the moon, you land on a star, whatever that is. That's a yes. So groundwork time, yes. This is about making wishes and planting. The Star card is also connected to Aquarius, solving for the greatest good of all. So in a very humanitarian way. And Shauna, I know you. So this is a call to helping, right? To healing others, because it's a solving for the greatest good of all. But remember that the Star card keeps one foot on earth and one in the cosmos. So there's an intuitive healing thing because she's in water. It's an air sign, but she's the water bearer, right? So there's about intuitive messaging and channeling. And this has come up for you before. I think the Reiki stuff needs to be, that's what I'm hearing. And you guys, I know some people get more information. The longer I work with you guys, the energy, it's like the channel's clear. So yes, it's a yes. It's a yes. We'll get into the particulars later. Okay. Music for the vibe. Is there a list for what? I would love to answer that, or somebody else in the group can help answer you. So Instagram, y'all don't want to ask questions. That's fine by us. Everybody on YouTube gets more. Brandon, is my child's mother trying to help me? Okay. Can I say baby mama? Trying to help you. And Brandon, hi. It's nice to see you again. Is your child's mother trying to help? Yeah, she is. It's in a very quiet way. And she's a little doesn't, I don't know why I hear this. It's the Hermit, okay? And the Hermit is one of my favorite cards because this is about being quiet, going off into the woods, meditating, really gathering information and insight. This is a total new moon card, right? But it means that the insight that they gather, then they come back down to the village to implement it. So it is a yes, but I hear that it's conflicted for her. And I get, this is probably where you may be a little suspicious of it, I think, where you're like, what is she really doing? It may feel manipulative. What I hear is because she's trying a new way of being and she's really trying to be helpful, but she doesn't really want to be emotionally involved. She looks at it as for the greater good of your child, but she doesn't know how to do it well. It's new. And so it's a little tentative. It's like, she's a little conflicted, but it's kind of like she's testing the waters of helping and then seeing how that turns out. And meanwhile, she does not, it's not emotional. It's very practical. So that's a yes, just tread carefully and lightly. And also always that this is a 9, right? That's cycles closing and karmic transition. So there's a transition happening here, I think, in your relationship with her. And that's it's going to take time, and you're going to have to let go some of the old yucky energy to let the new one in. So there you go. Jill, you did Instagram die on us or something after I made that comment? Because now you're here and I love you here. Should we add to our house in this calendar year? Okay, should you add on to your house? Okay, Jill, should we add on to the house in this calendar year? Let's see. Oh, you can't get a question through. Unbelievable, really. These silly bits. Okay, I'm scrolling back and forth and trying to keep up with stuff. So, Jill, should you add on to your house in this calendar year? That's a yes. Oh, I love this. Okay, I'm sorry. This is Queen of Cups. Because it's, it's like she's been moved out to the beach because there's being work done behind her. But it's a yes because it's like the queen needs her castle. Are you building on an office for you or something? Like, it's like this very, like creating your own space and this regalness. And Queen of Cups is about emotions and love, but she allows the tides to come to her. Like the King of Cups is usually in the water, right? And she's like, no, I just wait for things to come to me. And it's like, it's time to build this on. It's time to expand it. It's time for you to feel like the queen of your castle. That's what I hear. But I also I'm wondering about an office for you. Or is it like, are you guys going to do a little studio? It's like, there's something that's for you that gives you more love and more ownership of the house. I mean, whatever. Okay. I'm behind on questions. Let's see. If you guys are willing to stay a little bit longer, I'll do more. For Princess. Okay, you guys new that are joining us, I love you all. I'm so glad you're here. So the way we do the questions for today at the new moon and the full moon is if you all can ask a question that can be answered yes or no. I love to give specifics, and I love things to be really tangible and like really able to implement. So I'll scroll down because I would love to get to the new people here with us today, to their questions. Anything special for you this month is it's a little too lofty, like it's a little too nebulous. Like ask something that you want to know that can be answered yes or no, and then I'll give more information to it. Oh, good, Lacey. Okay, good. And Angela, yay. All right. Oh, AP, you're so welcome. Hi, Yasmin. Okay, here we go. What do we got? Okay, I'm scrolling. Okay, Charlotte, this is one we keep working around, right? Will enthusiasm for your career return after I move into your own place? I feel like this card came up for you. Was this in your reading? This is Four of Coins. Four of Coins is about being kind of like miserly with things, kind of like withholding things. It's almost like you're clinging to the non-enthusiasm. So this card is funny because this is four is about persistence and consistency and long-term, right? So Charlotte, I'm going to say something I would not as a person be like, oh, that kind of sounds like not good advice, but this is what I'm hearing. It's like you need to spend a little, like it's almost like you need to put some joy out there in order to get it back. You're stuck in a spiral, and it's like you're gonna have to like throw something out there, a little silly. Like I hear like an expenditure that's like totally frivolous, not to blow the bank, like just to like go have some fun, and then let that feed your fun, and quit worrying about it's almost like, hey, I take the afternoon off, go eat some ice cream and go stand by the ocean. You know what I mean? Or like go play volleyball on the ocean. I see the beach. It's like something fun. Just do something childish and fun. It's like trying to get the instigation. It's like getting the ignition going on enthusiasm right now. And as for your career, like draw something silly. I feel like it's like sometimes work gets in that thing of like what can sell, what will produce, what's been the thing. Like do something really silly. That's what's going to help get you out of here. It's not about finding your own place to live. This is energetic. This isn't physically based, even though it shows that. It's like being too miserly with things, too conservative. Like go have some fun. Don't blow the bank, but like, because it's pentacles, and that's kind of like the miser of the pentacles of like holding on to money, and then it's like you choke it and then no more of it comes in. So it's almost like you're holding on to enthusiasm, like chasing joy, and so then none of it can come in. If that makes sense. So you got to open the gates a little bit. Yeah, you guys can ask questions. It's just at first come, first serve on here. You have to ask it in a way. Oh, good, Sarah. Thank you. There we go. Prem, is pure intuition correct in terms of what's going on in Jay's life? Okay, that's great. Okay, one question per person. So here we go. Is your intuition correct in terms of what is going on in Jay's life? Well, that's a yes, because this is the Judgment card. Judgment was the card last month for UnicornWellness.Studio members that, like with our monthly reading, or with full moon, I don't know, this card would not quit in the last few weeks with the last full moon. So your intuition is correct about what's going on in his life. 20, you boil it down for numerology, this is patience and partnership and balance, but there's a rebirth happening. So you may feel like this is, I get a sense that you think that what's going on is negative, but this is an opportunity for rebirth. So understand that sometimes the bottom of things, the really terrible pieces, are what the breakdown is for the breakthrough. That this is a beautiful card because this is like the breakthrough is around the corner, but Judgment is really about, it's not about our being judged. This is usually a gift from the heavens, from the cosmos, of integration and rebirth and starting over. I hope that's helpful. It's a yes. So, but there's constructiveness about it and around it, even if we don't perceive it to be that way in this moment, or you're not feeling that way about it. So understand, life cycles are bigger and a little more mysterious, and even like the mucky parts, sometimes have to happen in order to get to the good stuff. So there you go. Yasmin, is Scorpio thinking about me? I love it. Okay, here we go. Scorpios are always thinking about something. This is a yes. So when they fall out, then we know they're a little extra. Ace of Swords. Okay. So swords are intellect, human, and thought process. And this is the fresh start and new beginning. So that's a yes, they're thinking about you. What they're thinking, I don't know, but you're definitely on their mind. Ace of Swords, you know, aces are temporary opportunity. So it's like they are thinking about you. So there's an opportunity to connect in this way. Ace of Swords is also God, what is it? The sort of, it's like spiritual balance. Like there can be a karmic spiritual balance with the Ace of Swords. So I don't know what the relationship is with you guys, that there's an opportunity of kind of like a rebirth of how you're thinking about each other, how your thoughts are connected, how swords are also subconscious patterning. It's like a new pattern could start for you guys now. So there's a temporary opportunity in this new moon for new patterns of connecting with each other. I think that's beautiful. Okay, I think I can take 2 more. I don't know how, you know, we could stay here all day and do it, but well, we can't. So let's see. Let's look. Yeah, you guys just have to type it in ways that can be answered yes or no when you ask a question, and I'll get to as many as I can. Tarot, Heaven, Angels. Will you and A reconcile? I think that's the right question, so that's what I'm going to go with. And Rania, I will answer yours. Okay, hang on. Oh, wow. Okay. This is, I love it when they fall out, you guys. Okay, so Tarot, Heaven, Angels, you had the, you know, will you and A reconcile ever? This is the Judgment card again. I'm telling you, this card's like flying out, continually coming up. That's a yes. So I always hesitate, you know, like on relationship things, but this is yes. But notice that how your question was answered, that it says ever. That doesn't necessarily mean right now. So same goes for this card, because this card is so heavy in the last lunation and this lunation, that judgment is patience and time and rebirth and, you know, letting things burn up, letting things really, really be done. So before there's a reconciliation, there has to be a complete, you know, I've said it, it's like burning down the whole forest. Like everything's got to go. You got to hash out everything. Okay. This is what I hear for you, Tarot, Heaven, Angels, is that you got to dump everything out of your purse. Like all of this, all of it. There's chance for reconciliation. This is a yes, there's a chance. You have to be patient. It's going to take more time than you think. I don't think it's time right now for reconciliation. You guys have to get everything out. All of the things that bother you, all of the things that you're angry about, all of the things that you worry about. It's like you got to dump it all out on the table and be willing to go, okay. And it's almost like dumping your purse out and then throwing everything out that you had and getting a new purse and starting over. But that's a yes. Okay, Shauna. Okay, I know the things we hear, we don't always want to hear. But Shauna, be brave. I know you. It's there. Magic's in you. You're getting tripped up. It's like your shoelace. You just need to tie it. Let's figure out how to tie that shoelace, okay? All right. And Brandon, she is like that. Okay, good. All right. So here we go. Last one I'm reading. This will be the last one for today, and then we can close up for today. Oh my gosh, there's so many more comments. Hang on. Rania, if yours is phrased in the right way, yours is going to be the last one that I do, I think. Rania, is it officially over between Sheldon and you? Is it officially over between Sheldon and you? Let's see. Hi, you guys. Let's see. Is it officially over between Sheldon and you? I don't think so. So this, this is King of Cups. I think he's reserving his emotions. This is why it's an I don't think so. And I tend, you guys, I should just say this because we've got a lot of love relationship questions today. I usually don't do a lot of love relationship questions because I find it difficult to give solid answers. And part of me wants, the readings to be really accurate and really useful. Love relationship questions are challenging because they're really based on free will, right? Like, what are their choices and what are your choices, and how do those converge and how do those work together? Meaning that getting a read on somebody else's feelings is one thing, but whether they choose to make mature, intuitive-based choices, and that's something completely different. However, so Rania, it says it's not completely over between you two because this is cups, this is love and emotions, and this is the King of Cups. The King of Cups knows typically how to surf the ocean of emotion, right? They're not like capsized and so dramatic, but this king is pretty reserved, meaning like, I know how I feel, but I'm not coming forward with it. I'm just going to kind of sit. It's like he's waiting for you to come to him. And I don't find that to be overly constructive. That's a yes on that. So I don't think it's totally over between you. I do think he has feelings for you. He's being reserved. He's being a little hyper masculine about not sharing and like not being the first. You can't go running and try to pick and pull it out of him. If it's going to work, if it's going to mend, he has to learn how to come to the table in fairness and share his emotions. Okay. Okay. All right. It is officially 11:11, and I'm going to close it out for today because because we could stay here all day, and I love it, and I'm so grateful for you all for being here. So all of those with new questions, just know that every new moon and every full moon, if you guys subscribe to the channel and then hit the bell so you get the alerts that I take questions every new and full moon. I have a feeling maybe we're going to make these question ones longer or their own standalone thing. If you would like to get a reading with me, you can do it at tandygutierrez.com. I do single card readings there too that are, really easy and quick and connected, just like these. And they end up being about a 15-minute read each. Depends on what the question is and what comes out. If you all are interested in exploring more about what I teach and what I do and how I do that, head over to UnicornWellness.Studio. Below in the description when I'm finished, you guys can see there'll be a code, and you guys can do 30 days free on the site, so you can get the monthly, the new, and the full moon reading. Like, you all can get that for free for a month, and all of the movements and all the workouts and the guided meditation for each month. So again, little notes. Thank you all so much for joining today in this new moon. If you missed the first part of it, you can watch this later once it's loaded. New moon on Saturday is big energy. So just work with it, use it, harness it. And if you missed the beginning of how to do that, then go back and do that. What else? You can find us on Facebook. There's a private Facebook group over there for members of UnicornWellness.Studio if you want to go into the deeper daily practices and the daily work. And today is the last day to buy the Deep Dive to Thrive sessions with me. It's the only time this year they'll be on sale, and that's at tandygutierrez.com. Also, if anybody's in Brooklyn, I'm teaching on Sunday at a holistic picnic. I love you guys. I'm going to just scroll through. It's just hard for me to answer every single thing. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, good, you guys. Yeah. So just come back and join me on the full moon, and we'll do more live readings then. And let's look at making some more time for them too. I love doing them. So thank you all. And make sure to like this video. You can do it and, subscribe to the channel. And if you guys have questions for in 2 weeks, we'll be live in 2 weeks taking questions. All right. All right, you guys. I love you very, very much, and I appreciate you for showing up, and hopefully you will join us again. New and full moon, tarot readings, and the lunation, and all the chit-chat. But if you want the practical tactics and the daily workouts that go along with current astrology and the meditations and the monthly readings, those are UnicornWellness.Studio, and there'll be a code below for 30 days free on the site, okay? Yay, thank you, Melinda. I love you guys. Okay. I'm going to go. I'll see you later. Bye.